For what feels like forever, Walt Disney World in Florida has had one major competitor, and some of us in the Disney family might feel like it's not a real competitor because we're a little biased, and we have to admit that sometimes. But we can't deny that Universal in Orlando does draw a lot of crowds and create some healthy competition for the Disney company. Now, I say healthy competition for a very specific reason. As much as Universal may not be the favorite in our Disney family, and there are some of us who are so into Disney that we've never been to Universal before, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, not at all. Even for someone like me who has never been to Universal before, and yes, one day I will go, I have no doubt about it, we see Universal pushing the limits on some of the technology they're bringing into the parks. Pushing the limits of technology not only is a lot of fun for us to see and experience in the rides and shows, but it also means a lot to the company's bottom line. They make a lot more money. Ever since Universal opened the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, they have seen the attendance gap between their parks and Walt Disney World shrink year after year. After 7 years of the attendance gap shrinking and shrinking between Universal and Disney, it finally came to an end in 2017 when Disney took it back. In 2017, Universal Orlando's attendance grew by about 2%, bringing it up to close to 20 million guests last year alone. Now, it seems like a large number when you think about it at first, but if you compare it to Walt Disney World, which had about 55 million guests last year and increased their attendance by 4%, you can see that attendance gap is still rather large. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking right away, Michael, where is the attendance really spiking at Walt Disney World that they were able to take the advantage back from Universal? Sure enough, I did a little bit of digging and I found the difference between 2017 and 2016 when it comes to attendance. Last year, Magic Kingdom saw its foot traffic increase 0.3%, which makes sense since there isn't anything brand new for Disney to advertise right now, but don't be worried, in the future you're going to see that percentage increase quite a bit, especially before the 50th anniversary. Now, if you're looking for the answer, look no further than Animal Kingdom. You can see right there 15.3% increase in foot traffic last year alone, and I have no doubt it's due to the opening of Pandora World of Avatar. Epcot increased by 4.2% and Hollywood Studios decreased by 0.5%, but it makes sense since there's a lot of construction going on. I have no doubt once we see Star Wars Galaxy's Edge open, then we're going to see a very different number for Hollywood Studios. And we can't forget Universal. Both of their areas increased by about 2% between 2016 and 2017. In my opinion, this big boost for Disney is a great thing for the future and for competition, both for Universal and for Disney. The reason is, when they see a boost like this, they think to themselves, this is great, we're making more money, we want to repeat this in the future. How can we do that? The answer is very clear: make new areas for the guests to enjoy. Now, I have no doubt that when Volcano Bay, Universal's new water park, opened, Disney's water parks probably saw a decrease in attendance. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that Volcano Bay is better. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but since I've never been, I can't give you my thoughts about that. It just means that it's a more recent addition, and those who maybe have gone to the water parks over and over and over again would love to see something new, and they say, you know what, let's give this one a try. So in my mind, there is little doubt that Universal and Disney are probably really looking into the future to see how they can repeat these successes in the future. Speaking of the future, I read an article not too long ago that really got me thinking about what the competition between Disney and Universal might look like in the future. After 8 years of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter driving millions of guests and a ton of money to Universal, it begs the question, once Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens at Walt Disney World and Disney pulls that momentum back their way even further, how long will it take before Universal comes out with a new ride or a new area that drives the momentum back the other direction? It's a question that I've been rattling around my mind for a little while now, and I believe, even knowing nothing about the company or even how the land at Universal is laid out because I've never been, that they are probably already considering how they will counter this in the future, and that's where a very interesting rumor comes into play. It's a very subtle rumor, and I have no doubt that even if Universal is considering it, they may just throw it out if they don't like the idea or if things don't line up, but I still wanted to get your thoughts about it. The idea is to build a new land or a new area or even a new park that could compete directly with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The theming for this new area? Star Trek.
Make it so. Sir? to it.
Now, you know, when it comes to vacation destinations, Disney is my highest priority. It goes without saying. And to me, Star Wars precedes Star Trek. But that being said, we're not limited to the amount of things we're allowed to like, right? Not at all. You can enjoy as many things as you want, and my dad and I definitely enjoy Star Trek as well. Now, I do have to note, when I say Star Trek, I'm only talking about Kirk and Picard. I don't know about any of the others. I've never watched any of the others. It's only Kirk and Picard that my dad and I are fans of. I do have to say, if there is one non-Disney theme that could get me to go to Universal sooner rather than later, Star Trek would definitely be at the higher end of my list. Now, I wouldn't prioritize it over Disney or Star Wars, not at all. But let's say I was living in the area, maybe one day in the future, and I had some extra time, I definitely wouldn't mind stepping aboard the Starship Enterprise and sitting in the captain's chair at least for a moment or two. In my opinion, adding a Star Trek area to Universal cannot possibly touch the amount of traffic that Disney's going to see from Star Wars, but maybe it can draw some of the traffic who want to see a different part of the galaxy. However, I think that given how popular we know Star Wars Galaxy's Edge will be, making a Star Trek themed area definitely might help Universal in the battle for the galaxy. Whether or not you're a fan of Star Trek, what do you think of this rumor? Do you think it could be true? And if they do make a Star Trek area, do you think it could compete even a little bit with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Or do you think that the Star Trek time is kind of past and Star Wars is more of the primary focus? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.